we really quickly moved into equity raises. And our preference has been to be just ordinary equity. So for the audience, just to clarify, there's different types of ways of raising equity, and ordinary shares, just standard, everyone treated equally, all shareholders' shares are the same. But there's this thing called preferred equity. And there are different funds from, VC and private equity, particularly from the US, that will come to Australia with different preferences on the equity. So the shares are not equal to ordinary equity. So they get their first money out. They get some extra preferences on their shares, extra multiples. That's the type of that's the concept of preferred equity, and
Yeah.
and you can get some really nice valuations, but it's hard to work out your true valuation when you start getting ordinary and preferred equity mix. We were fortunate enough that we didn't actually take on preference shares or provide equity through preference shares.
Yeah.
We did all of our raises through ordinary equity raises.
Okay.
Yeah. So then when you go and raise equity, who do you raise money from, I think is the next question. And there's different ways to do it. So sort of preempting your questions there, Sean,
Thank you.
sorry.
No, totally doing my job for me. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, what's interesting that wasn't available to us though, and it might be worth looking into. I'm not a massive expert on this, but worth taking a look at some of the crowdfunding, particularly for the smaller stage businesses, where I think between $2 and $10 million, the regulations have really changed.
Yeah.
It's easier to get crowdfunding nowadays, and there's like platforms that do crowdfunding really well, domestically and internationally, and the rules, like I said, have changed. So
Yeah.
some of the issues with wholesale and going to high net wealths and all those rules and signatures, that they've made them a little bit easier
Seems
to
to
make
make
happen.
it
The
easier,
other,
so.
so the straight ordinary equity is you effectively you probably appoint an advisor, usually a banker. There's plenty of them out there, and just do your checks and make sure that they've check their credentials, that they know what they're talking about. They do quite a lot of the negotiations, the heavy lifting, the intros. They have the right network. There's plenty of really good ones out there. We've worked with a number of very strong, I guess they call them advisors or advisors for banking. So these guys do a really good job. They help you with your pitch deck. So you obviously need a pitch deck.